Almost. Okay, we're live.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Committee on Transportation. We'll be holding two public hearings today. We're glad you could be with us. This meeting will be live streamed, of course, as usual, and it'll be on our committee's YouTube channel. Everyone will be able to participate via Zoom, and you can be seen and heard when your time is present, and you must stay unmuted while you're talking, and we'd suggest you stay muted while you're not. We'll introduce ourselves and then we will get right to it. And we'll start with Representative O'Connell. Good afternoon, Representative O'Connell.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here. Kevin O'Connell, I've got District 128 for Brewer. That's 95.63% of Brewer.
Thank you, sir. Representative Tom Martin. No.
No.
Representative Bruce White. Good afternoon,
Hi,
Representative White.
thank you, Senator Diamond. Representative Bruce White from Waterville, District 109, and I represent about half of Waterville.
Thank you, sir. And Representative Mark Bryant from my town of Wyndham and his.
Thank you, Chair Diamond. I am Mark Bryant from Wyndham. I represent House District 24 for the town of Wyndham. Welcome all.
Thank you, sir. And Representative Mike Perkins is on his way. I would explain to everybody that's watching that our committee members are obligated in several different directions this time of year, so they'll join us as soon as they can. We'll go to Representative Wayne Perry. Good afternoon, Representative Perry.
Good afternoon, Senator. My name is Wayne Perry. I represent House District 10, which covers Arundel, Dayton, and most of Lyman.
Representative Lynn Williams.
Thank you, Senator. I am Representative Lynn Williams. I represent District 135, which includes Bar Harbor, Lemoyne, and Mount Desert.
Thank you very much. Representative Dustin White is not with us yet. Senator Chipman, I think, has another committee, and Senator Brad Farron. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Brad Farron. I live in Norridge Walk and have the distinct honor and privilege of representing the majority of Somerset County in the town of Rome and Kennebec County.
Thank you, Senator. And co-chair, Representative Danny Martin from way up there in the Notland.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon, folks. My name is Danny Martin. I represent House 150, located in northern Rooster County.
Thank you, Representative Martin. In our regular procedure for holding public hearings, of course, we will the sponsor will present the bill, followed by those who are speaking as proponents, followed by those who are speaking as opponents, and then those who would speak neither for nor against. Please state your name and residence. Written testimony may be submitted at any time. And we will now start with our first bill, LD 1990. An act, excuse me, before we go any further, I want to introduce our committee clerk. I almost went right by that. Darlene Semino and our two analysts, Sam Prower and Julia McDonald and Suzanne Voynick joining us on the next bill. Thank you all for being with us. Again, we'll go to an LD 1990 introduction. It's an act allowing electric powered school buses to have distinctively colored bumpers, wheels, and rub rails. Presented by Representative Perkins, and today it will be presented by Senator Farron. Good afternoon and welcome, Senator Farron.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Senator Diamond, Representative Martin, and distinguished members of the finest committee in the Maine State Legislature, the Committee of Transportation. I'm Brad Farron, and it is my honor to introduce LD 1990 on behalf of Representative Mike Perkins. It's an act to allow electric powered school buses to have distinctly colored bumpers, wheels, and rub rails. That is all I have to offer at this moment, but I know that there are some folks that are going to provide some testimony and backup on this, and I look forward to your support of this bill.
Thank you, Senator Farron. Are there any questions from the committee? Seeing none. There are no co-sponsors, so we'll now recognize Lieutenant Scott, who will be providing some testimony to the committee on this bill.
Senator Diamond, just zooming in, wasn't sure if you had asked me to speak yet.
Yep, yeah, you're the first one up. So we welcome you on, speaking on as a proponent of LD 1990. And good afternoon, sir, and welcome.
Good afternoon, and thank you. I've got a bit of a cold, so I will struggle through this, and hopefully you can hear me okay.
You're coming good.
Senator Diamond, Representative Martin, and distinguished members of the Joint Standing Committee on Transportation. My name is Lieutenant Bruce Scott, and I am the commanding officer of the Maine State Police Traffic Safety Unit. I'm here today to testify on behalf of the Department of Public Safety and the Maine State Police in support of LD 1990. New electric school buses are being equipped by the manufacturer with distinct colors on the bumpers, rub rails, and the wheels to signify that they're using battery power to propel these vehicles. Such markings serve as an important message to first responders in the event of a crash. The high voltage lithium ion batteries pose a significant electric shock and or fire risk if not properly handled in the event of a collision. Mount Desert Isle was the first district in Maine to purchase an electric powered school bus last fall, but many more will likely follow. This bus arrived with the wheels painted blue, which caused me to pause for a moment and think about our current statute. Current Maine law under Title 29A, Section 2302, requires that bumpers be painted a glossy black, and then it requires the rest of the bus to be painted a national school bus yellow, with the exception of the hood that can be a lustrous black. Also, while researching this issue, I noticed that many school buses currently have black wheels and rub rails, but the statute doesn't allow for that either. Furthermore, I've learned that some electric school bus manufacturers are using distinct colors on their rub rails, wheels, and bumpers, such as blue or green, and some are even gray. This bill, if passed, would prevent each school district in Maine that purchases an electric powered school bus from immediately having to paint over these safety markings to comply with this outdated law. For these reasons, we urge you to vote in favor of LD 1990. On behalf of the Department of Public Safety and the Maine State Police, I thank you for your time, and I would be happy to try to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Lieutenant Scott. That's very informative. Didn't realize all that. Are there questions from the committee? And yes, Representative Danny Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Lieutenant Scott, for your testimony. A question, are you aware of any friendly amendment that the sponsor or the department is going to present in reference regarding a green light issue legislation that was enacted last year, and for some reason we need to do some housekeeping wording?
Yes, sir. I had spoke to Representative Martin and Perkins, sorry, and he was going to put in an amendment for LD 2054 to expand the use of green lights for the public service vehicles. If you remember last year, we had discussed adding the green lights for the tow trucks, which are public service vehicles. But specifically in statute, they authorized only the wreckers. And I think members of the committee were under the impression that the green lights would be authorized for all public service vehicles. So Representative Perkins intended to put in an amendment so that that could be added to 2054 1C. And I've pushed that up through my chain of command, embedded it, and the Maine State Police and the Department of Public Safety do fully support that amendment if it gets made.
Great. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
So along those same lines, Lieutenant, will you be offering that to Representative Perkins to see if he wants to present that? Is there any arrangements that have been made that you know of?
My understanding, sir, was that he was going to ask for an amendment. I'm not sure if he had planned on doing it for the public hearing or if he was going to ask at the work session, but I do know he said that he wanted it, and we were absolutely good with it.
Good. There's plenty of opportunity at work session for that, but thank you for alerting the committee. Thank you, Representative Martin, for that. Other questions of Lieutenant Scott?
Mr. Chair, just a comment, if I may, Lieutenant
Sure.
Scott. In the absence of the sponsor of this bill and in respect to Representative O'Connell, who had sponsored the green light bill, is there an opportunity for you to draft something that you could present to us during our work session?
Yes, Representative Martin, I'd be glad to do that.
I think that's, and then we can have Representative Perkins present it and committee can consider it. So thank you for that.
You're
Other
welcome.
questions from the committee? Seeing none, thank you, Lieutenant Scott. We appreciate you being here. And we hope you get off to your next meeting, next committee, in a timely manner.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Are there
Have a great
other
day, everybody.
those would testify as proponents? Anybody else, Darlene, testifying in any way? No opponents, and there is nobody testifying either for nor against. Therefore, we will close the public hearing on LD 1990. We will now open the public hearing on LD 1996. 1996 is an act to make supplemental appropriations and allocations for the expenditures of state government, highway fund, and other funds to change certain provisions of the law necessary to the proper operations of state government for the fiscal years ending June 30, 2022 and June 30, 2023, presented by Representative Martin of Sinclair. Good afternoon again, Representative Martin.
Good afternoon, Senator Diamond. Senator Diamond and members of the Joint Standing Committee on Transportation. I am Danny Martin and a proud member of this outstanding committee. Again, it is my pleasure to present Governor Mills LD 1996 as described and verbalized by our good Senate Chair. LD 1996 contains several initiatives that will be described in detail by respective agencies outlined in the bill. As always, Mr. Chair, I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. However, as I mentioned, folks from those of these agencies can better respond to any questions once they have detailed these initiatives. Again, a reminder that this is a public hearing and we'll have ample opportunity during our work session to further ask any questions of anyone that is available. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Representative Martin. Very helpful. So yes, this will be a public hearing, and we will have, when we'll do our next Tuesday, we'll do our work session, at which time we will have an opportunity to ask questions on each and every initiative and any other questions that committee members may have. And so we have anybody else to testify, any other co-sponsors? There were none. So now we will open it up. We're going to start with public safety to go through the bill. And I would call Commissioner Sawchuk and welcome him to be before our committee. It was nice to see you again.
Good afternoon, Senator. Thank you very much for having me. I'll say that Kendra Coates, who's our deputy commissioner here, is also available if need be. And I would say normally this is Maine State Police initiatives. Colonel Cody and Lieutenant Colonel Harwood would join us. I would tell you that Lieutenant Colonel Harwood is a bit of a quitter after 33 years with the Maine State Police. He's retiring down the hall today. So they're a little tied up right now and we'll be joining them shortly. But I'll be sure to pass along any questions that are necessary, and we'll see you next Tuesday as well. So,
absolutely.
Good afternoon, Senator Diamond, Representative Martin, and distinguished members of the Joint Standing Committee on Transportation. My name is Mike Sawchuk, and I'm the Commissioner for the Department of Public Safety. I'm here today to testify in support of the supplemental budget LD 1996. As Governor Mills said during her State of the State address, Maine people deserve every ounce of hard-won progress that we've achieved despite the pandemic, and Maine people have earned the progress that is yet to come. The supplemental provides additional relief to Maine people and ensures the continuity of the programs and services so vital to Maine residents. The governor has proposed giving back half the surplus to Maine taxpayers to help them confront inflation, and she set money aside in the Budget Stabilization Fund and other important reserves to ensure we can continue to fully fund public education and revenue sharing. Two major accomplishments of this legislative body and this administration. The governor also focuses sharply on addressing Maine's biggest challenges, including tackling our state's longstanding workforce shortage to improve our economy, providing an affordable world-class education for Maine people, and on bolstering a healthcare system that has been pushed to the brink because of the pandemic. The governor seeks to do this in a fiscally responsible manner that provides needed assistance and support to Maine people while heeding the warnings of Maine's nonpartisan Revenue Forecasting Committee, which has expressed significant concern about shifting economic conditions, calling the fiscal environment unprecedented and variable, and noting that the accuracy of their forecast becomes less reliable in future years, leading them to urge caution in use of the revenues. The supplemental builds on the investments of the biennial and Maine Jobs Plan, both enacted within the last 7 months. The Department of Public Safety was established to serve the people by providing, coordinating, and leading a responsive and comprehensive public safety system to protect their lives, rights, and properties. This broad mission is accomplished with 628 positions spread across 10 bureaus. The bureaus are Administration, Capitol Police, Consolidated Emergency Communications, Emergency Medical Services, Fire Marshal's Office, Gambling Control, Highway Safety, Maine Criminal Justice Academy, Maine Drug Enforcement Agency, and the Maine State Police. My testimony today will focus on our largest bureau, the Maine State Police. There are 13 Department of Public Safety Maine State Police related initiatives, which begin on page 1. The first initiative provides funding to implement a comprehensive video camera solution for the Maine State Police. This includes the cost of the body cameras, cruiser cameras, related hardware and software, and a professional storage and retrieval system associated with the new technology. This initiative also includes 2 Office Associate 2 positions to provide administrative support, additional services from the Office of the Attorney General, and additional services from the Office of Information Technology to support the related technology needs. This initiative increases the Highway Fund personal services by $51,502 and the Highway Fund all other by $334,562 in FY23. The next initiative provides funds to increase the hours of 1 forensic chemist technician position from 40 to 80 hours biweekly. This funding will expand 1 part-time forensic chemist technician position to a full-time forensic chemist technician position for the Maine State Police Crime Lab. This aligns with the current workload and increases the Highway Fund personal services by $2,150 in FY22 and $8,968 in FY23. It also increases the Highway Fund all others by $240 in FY22 and $251 in FY23. The next initiative establishes 3 Maine State Police trooper positions to provide instruction at the Maine Criminal Justice Academy. These positions will expand our capacity to provide training beyond the mandatory topics currently offered. The state police struggle to provide sufficient mandated training and often cannot provide elective training. With the social justice movement, police reform, and demand for more professionalized officers, additional training is crucial. However, additional resources are needed to provide that training. Societal tensions require additional de-escalation training and ongoing implicit bias type trainings. Our increasing interactions with those suffering from behavioral health issues requires more training so that police officers in the state are better equipped to help those in a crisis. This initiative increases the Highway Fund personal services by $100,896 and the Highway Fund all other by $46,717 in FY23. The next initiative establishes 3 Maine State Police detective positions within the Maine State Police Major Crimes Units. These positions will be assigned to the Major Crimes Unit divisions located in Southern Maine, Central Maine, and Northern Maine. This initiative increases the Highway Fund personal services by $148,008 and the Highway Fund all other by $47,292 in FY23. The next initiative establishes 1 state police sergeant position with the Unsolved Homicide Unit. The sergeant will provide supervision to the detectives who currently report to the Major Crimes Unit Central Lieutenant. This position will coordinate activities between the Medical Examiner's Office, the Attorney General's Office, the Maine State Police Crime Lab, and the 3 major crimes units. This initiative increases the Highway Fund personal services by $50,596 and the Highway Fund all other by $15,808 in FY23. The next initiative establishes 8 civilian behavioral health program coordinator positions that will be dedicated to establishing community partnerships and coordinating social services for the troop barracks located throughout Maine. This initiative increases the Highway Fund personal services by $276,336 and increase the Highway Fund all other by $20,045 in FY23. The next initiative provides funding for the technology costs related to a data server that is needed to support the new evidence tracking software at the Maine State Police Crime Lab. This initiative increases the Highway Fund all other by $5,349 in FY22 and $10,697 in FY23. The next initiative provides funding for technology costs related to the evidence tracker software annual fees. This software is used by the Maine State Police Crime Lab and is a critical tool. This initiative increases the Highway Fund all other by $3,957 in both FY22 and FY23. The next initiative provides one-time funding to update and replace existing equipment necessary for pre-employment and criminal polygraphs conducted by the Maine State Police. This increases the Highway Fund all other by $7,195 in FY22 only. The next initiative provides one-time funding for noise-reducing equipment for department firearms necessary to protect the hearing of our Maine State Police personnel. This initiative increases the Highway Fund all other by $42,840 in FY23 only. The next initiative provides funding for increased technology costs related to the Odyssey software system. The increased technology costs are necessary to support the criminal history records and Odyssey software project. This initiative increases the highway fund all other by $11,153 in both FY22 and FY23. The next initiative provides funding for the technology, license, and maintenance costs related to the new combined DNA indexing system, better known as CODIS, server for the Maine State Police Crime Lab. The new server will operate on a state network with increased security, maintenance, and recovery demands in compliance with the Criminal Justice Information Network requirements. These enhancements will result in increased annual cost and increase the highway fund all other by $9,963 in FY23. Our final initiative establishes one state police polygraph examiner position. The State Police Polygraph Unit provides pre-employment and criminal polygraph exams for our agency and other agencies at no cost. The requests for polygraphs currently exceed the capacity of the unit. The initiative increases the highway fund personal services by $42,014 and the highway fund all other by $2,714 in FY23. This concludes my testimony. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Commissioner. We appreciate that. Are there questions from the committee? I would ask for the work session if you would be, and by the way, any committee member wants additional information for the work session, this would be a good time to ask. I would like to have you give us an update on the 2 computer crime unit hirees, the status of each, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, absolutely, Senator. No problem at all. And I can even give you some of that right now if you like.
Okay.
So we truly did appreciate the support for those 3 forensic analyst positions that were approved in 2019 under Senator Diamond's leadership. And those positions were filled on May 18th of 2020. And so those positions, some of those individuals continue on with their training, but those positions are full at this time. I would say that we do currently have 37 backlog cases and 133 electronic devices that are relating to those 37 cases. And so far in 2022, we received 292 cyber tips. And there's also conducted 27 field operations this year. And I think more importantly, as well, is that we're continuing to build an affiliate style program, which means we're working with other agencies that are going to allow us staff, and then we train them up, and we would still maintain that knowledge hub, that subject matter experts from the Computer Crimes Unit, while being able to farm out some of those local investigations to agencies that have the staff to do that. Got great ongoing partnerships with Homeland Security Investigations, HSI. They really stepped up their game with some new supervision. And I think really cyber tips in 2021, as a point of reference, 1,236. The volume we're seeing today, and it's early in the year, but we're looking at over 1,700 cyber tips in 2022 if things continue the way they currently are. So I appreciate the support, sir, and the question.
Thank you very much. I appreciate 37 seems like a better number.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So that's a big deal. 1 is too many. We know that. That's why we tried to get 6 positions the last time. We were able to get 3, but that was a big deal, getting that support. It's really in support of our children. So how much more important can you get than that? But they're working hard. It's a great group, and we appreciate their work.
Would you be, well, I'm sure you would, welcome any committee member on transportation that wanted to go over to Vassalboro and see that in operation? They would, as long as they made arrangements, that'd be welcome.
That'd be no problem at all. So anytime we'd be happy to host anybody that would be willing to stop by. And I'll tell you, it's a bit of a twofer for me, right? If you want to take a look at the Maine Criminal Justice Academy, the work that they do in computer crimes are both in the same building right now. So that may be an opportunity to see both of those. Little road trip.
Yep, absolutely. Look forward to that this spring. Any other questions from the committee? Seeing none, thank you, Commissioner. We appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day now.
Thank you. We now welcome the Secretary of State Bellows. The next portion of our budget is Secretary of State, Department of. Good afternoon and welcome.
Good afternoon, Senator Diamond,
Good afternoon.
Representative Martin, distinguished members of the Transportation Committee.
Nice to have you with us. If you have any opening remarks and then we'll take us through the initiatives, that'd be great.
Wonderful. Senator Diamond, Representative Martin, members of the committee. My name is Shanna Bellows. I'm the Secretary of State and a resident of Manchester. I am here to present testimony in support of the items presented in the 2022-2023 supplemental budget. As you know, the Bureau of Motor Vehicles was established to serve the people of Maine and advance motor vehicle safety by licensing drivers and registering vehicles. The Bureau has grown considerably. In addition to those functions, we also title vehicles, license driver education schools and instructors, license vehicle and trailer dealers, and manage all motor carrier programs. Through the collection of the licensing and registration fees associated with these services, the BMV also provides revenues to build and maintain Maine's bridges and highways. And we are proud that in fiscal year 21, we generated over 117 million for the highway fund through the processing of 3,759,072 total transactions. The Bureau serves the public at the main office in Augusta and 13 branch office locations, as well as through a variety of online services. Additionally, we coordinate with 516 municipalities and 12 non-governmental agents across the state that offer registration services to the people of Maine. So on your document, Bureau initiatives begin on page 4. And the first initiative, there are 15 highway fund initiatives under the administration of motor vehicles. So I'll go in order of each one, and please stop me if you have any questions or desire additional information.
Thank you.
The first initiative provides funding for technology cost increases. The all other request is $152,049 in fiscal year 21-22 and $223,993 in fiscal year 22-23. This is an amount that the Bureau of Motor Vehicles is billed by the Department of Administrative and Financial Services Office of Information Technology. So it's important to know that the Bureau of Motor Vehicles maintains all of our own independent hardware and software applications in-house, but OIT out of DAFS maintains the network. OIT is changing the way they bill for network access to base it on the number of devices used by an agency. That includes all computers, printers, credit card readers, any other device that is connected to the internet. So the change to the process of billing significantly increases costs. Additionally, we have implemented modern credit card device readers at all of our branches over the last several months. So that has also increased our number of devices. Initiative 2 provides funding for meter postage increases. The all other request is $3,780 in fiscal year 21-22 and $15,119 in fiscal year 22-23. Federal postal rates will increase in April 2022 by 2%, and this captures those increases. Initiative 3 provides funding for the additional cost of aluminum used to make registration plates. The all other request is $58,518 in fiscal year 21-22 and $228,413 in fiscal year 22-23. The cost of aluminum has increased dramatically and actually continues to increase as buyers struggle to obtain metal due to container shortages, shipping delays, and more. Approximately 691 registration plates were made in fiscal year 21, requiring 197,673 pounds of aluminum. We purchase an average of 175,000 pounds of aluminum per year. And we've provided the selling prices so that you can just see the dramatic increase. And as I share, that continues to go up. 4, this initiative establishes one contract manager position and provides funding for all other costs. The personal services and all other request is $121,635 in fiscal year 22-23. We talked a lot about technology modernization to better serve the people of Maine. That is going to require significant funds, and we believe a prudent way to pursue those funds is to pursue federal grants. The Bureau of Motor Vehicles has no one who does grant writing or grant management for federal grants. And so this would establish a contract grant manager position to manage and coordinate the grant application process and funding received. We're hopeful that some funds may be available under the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act in fiscal year 2022 to benefit BMV modernization. 5, this initiative provides one-time funding for the re-roofing project and repair of the concrete buttresses at the Main State Prison Plate Shop. The capital expenditure request is $128,000 in fiscal year 21-22 and $14,000 in fiscal year 22-23. The Bureau of Motor Vehicles has received an evaluation of the plate shop building roof located at Bolduc. The age of the current roof could not be determined by the engineering company, and there is an ongoing leak. It's recommended that the existing shingled roof be replaced with a standing seam steel roof and concrete buttress be repaired. 6, this initiative establishes one agency application architect position and provides funding for all other costs. The personal services and all other requests is $140,811 in fiscal year 22-23. This position is needed for the coordination of information technology infrastructure as we strive to integrate our technology systems. It's been identified by the team as fundamental to modernization so that everyone is working under the same application, architecture, coding practices, and quality assurance expectations. The agency application architect would ensure the success of modernization by identifying opportunities for better coordination and efficiency and integration of our systems. Initiative number 7 provides funding for the increase in the International Registration Plan, or IRP, annual membership dues. The all other request is $17,691 in fiscal year 2022-2023. Annual membership dues for the IRP will double in cost starting in fiscal year 22-23. And the vendor has implemented a new IRP data repository, and that's what those membership dues support. Number 8, this initiative continues and makes permanent 6 customer service representative associate to motor vehicle positions. These positions were previously continued in Public Law 21, Chapter 224. The personal services is $7,866 in fiscal year 22-23. 6 limited period positions were established in 2019 for the BMV branches to address wait times, higher customer numbers, and the complexity of transactions like Real ID. 3 years later, we're still experiencing staffing shortages at the branches and increasing complexity of transactions and longer wait times. Recruitment and retention for limited period, essentially temporary positions, is particularly difficult, especially given the complex requirements of these positions. So changing these limited period positions to permanent would provide a more stable, well-trained workforce to be available to serve our customers more efficiently and effectively and reduce wait times. 9, this initiative provides funding for increased branch lease costs for new locations and or renewals at 6 existing locations. The all other request is $31,389 in fiscal year 21-22 and $206,059 in fiscal year 22-23. 6 branch lease locations are due for renewal within this budget cycle. Prior to a lease negotiation we completed this winter, it had been 15 years since branch leases were previously negotiated. Representative O'Connell was there for the opening of the new branch location in Bangor. We are looking at a new lease location in Lewiston, where the lease expires this July 31st. We are looking at renewing our leases in Augusta, Springvale, Kennebunk, and Calais, and expiration dates are provided there for you to review. They all expire this year. 10. Oh, is there a question on that one?
Nope, no question.
Okay, great. At 10, this initiative provides funding for the addition of security cameras at each branch location. All other requests is $40,736 in fiscal year 21-22 and $32,446 in fiscal year 22-23. Security is a major concern at the branches, as is efficient lobby management. This initiative provides for 1 additional camera for each branch office to allow for viewing by management of what's happening outside of the branch. This will permit management to evaluate outside wait times, but most importantly, provide for additional security. Initiative number 11 is related. This provides funding for the ongoing maintenance costs of security cameras in the new Bangor branch location. The all other request is $10,223 in fiscal year 21-22 and $20,448 in fiscal year 22-23. This is for ongoing maintenance costs associated and resulting from the purchase and installation of security cameras at the new Bangor BMV branch, which is located at 396 Griffin Road in Bangor. 12, this initiative provides funding for the ongoing software maintenance and customer messaging services from the online appointment booking solution purchased from our current lobby management service provider. The all other request is $17,660 in fiscal year 21-22 and $21,988 in fiscal year 22-23. I am very excited about this. Within the next couple of months, we'll be unveiling an online appointment solution purchased for the 13 branch office locations in the main office. This will allow for us to offer both appointments and walk-in service. Customers will be empowered to reserve appointments online, at home, or through a mobile device with notifications through text messaging services. The solution will also allow for more efficient lobby management. A walk-in customer would be able to take a ticket, scan it with their mobile device, reserve their place in line. Then they could go sit in their vehicle to wait more conveniently and more privately, or receive an estimated wait time. And if it's going to be lengthy, run a quick errand and still have their place in line. It's a very exciting system that's been implemented in other states. 13, this initiative establishes 2 customer representative associate 2 motor vehicle positions and provides funding for related all other costs. With the approval of Commissioner Figueroa and the Budget Office, we have proposed an amendment to this initiative. The amendment would be to establish 2 customer service representative specialist positions and provide funding for related all other costs. The amendment would be, request would be $181,549 in fiscal year 22-23. There was a little bit of confusion. The initiative as it's currently drafted would be for 2 regular branch reps. What the Bureau had requested was 2 specialists because an analysis of the wait times that we're experiencing and service periods demonstrates that most transactions are relatively brief. People can get in and out once they're at the window in time periods between 5 and 10 minutes. But there's some complex transactions that take a significant amount of time and then result in longer wait times for everyone else in the branch. And so these specialist positions would be for staff experienced and trained in complex transactions, deployed, one in the north and one in the south, to assist with those transactions and to provide training and support for other customer service reps in the complex transactions. It's our hope that that would reduce our wait times. I do want to just point out that it is important to note the current staffing levels at our branch locations is inadequate to serve the 311,540 customers that came to the branch offices between January and November 21 alone. And just in the interest of transparency, we've shared our average wait times here. 128,000 of those customers were serviced within 20 minutes. 91,118 customers had to wait over 40 minutes. 55,175 customers had to wait over 60 minutes, and 27,322 Maine residents had to wait over 80 minutes. So our goal this year is to dramatically reduce those wait times. Those are really, really too much. But current census data shows that we're seeing increased population growth, particularly in southern Maine. And we are seeing, and that is a contributing factor. 14, this initiative provides funding for the approved reorganization of 1 Auditor 1 to an Auditor 2 position and provides funding for all other costs. The personal services and all other requests is $1,405 in fiscal year 21-22, $8,597 in fiscal year 22-23. This is a management initiated reorganization approved by the Bureau of Human Resources. Our audit division within the Bureau of Motor Vehicles provides audits of all the municipalities and registrations across the state to ensure the financial integrity of the registration program. 15, this initiative provides funding for the approved reorganization of 2 information system support specialist positions to 2 information system support specialist 2 positions. The initiative provides funding for related all other costs. The request is $3,195 in fiscal year 21-22 and $15,967 in fiscal year 22-23. These are IT positions at the Bureau of Motor Vehicles. This was a management initiated reorganization approved by the Bureau of Human Resources in November of 2021. So that concludes my formal testimony on the budget before you. There, with permission, Mr. Chair, I'd like to add to also mention one other thing.
Yes, sure, go ahead.
Okay, so there is an additional amendment to the supplemental budget that Senator Diamond asked me to present on his behalf. As you know, or perhaps you don't, because it's a well-kept secret, unfortunately. We need to do more in marketing. The Secretary of State's office manages the Address Confidentiality Program. It's a vital program to help survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault, to live their lives without fear that their abusers can look up or find their home addresses. So this program, run within existing resources by the department, we literally receive all of the mail for all of the participants in that program. And then we, in our office, deliver that mail, repackage it, and deliver it to their actual address. But for public purposes, their address is 148 State House Station, the Secretary of State. We also, at the Bureau of Motor Vehicles, process their vehicle registrations and make sure that the excise tax is appropriately dedicated to the correct municipality, again, masking their actual address on their vehicle registration so that that cannot be accessed by anyone. And we work with the Bureau of Elections to protect their address, to make sure that in the redistricting process that they can vote in the appropriate districts, but that information is not publicly available through access to the voter file. So we essentially manage the confidentiality of addresses for all of these victims and survivors. Senator Diamond has an extraordinarily important bill to expand the program to include victims of human trafficking and minor victims of kidnapping to enroll in the program. So this would be an important update. It would, and we are proposing the creation of a single position, a planning and research associate to be funded at a cost of $113,053 for fiscal year 22-23.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Yeah, that's because I'm chairing the committee. It was a little cumbersome for me to present an amendment at the same time, and it is coming from Secretary of State, and obviously it would fit in, if the committee decides, it would fit into the highway fund. This is something that the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children called me a few weeks ago and said even though Maine's been a leader in protecting our people who are human trafficked and other victims, protecting their addresses, obviously we in our law had a gap, and that was for minors who were kidnapped and for the human trafficking. Both of those pieces somehow got left out. It wasn't just in Maine, it was in a few other states as well. And they asked if we could have an after deadline bill, which we had. The Judiciary Committee passed it yesterday. But this is going to add more people to it, and I wanted the committee to know that, and also have the opportunity to discuss and examine. We need some funding on that line, one way or another. So anyway, be ready for any other questions, and we can explore that on Tuesday. But that's how that amendment ended up here, because it was an after deadline bill requested by the National Center. As you know, that was John Walsh created that, he and his wife Rebay. And so it's as a result of their son being kidnapped. Anyway, so that's what that all is. Other questions for the secretary? Anybody? Yes, Representative O'Connell.
Yes, thank you for the testimony. I can attest to the fact that the new building in Bangor is amazing. I never minded going to the old one because I didn't mind waiting because it gave me a chance to make new friends. But I understand there are people that didn't have such a joyous experience as I did, but the new building is amazing. For one thing, it's got windows, which is nice. And as I stated that day, I really like how you took care of your employees' comfort zone and took care of their issues and made it a nice working place for them, which in turn will make it a nice experience for the customers. So I appreciate what you did, and it's a great building.
Thank you, Representative O'Connell. Any other questions or information for the work session on Tuesday? Yeah, in terms of those, the locations for the motor vehicle branches, there used to be one in Wyndham for 8 years and, but it's no longer there.
We would entertain an amendment to it, add a branch. If you wanted to have 14.
I think you're doing quite well. So no other questions, then we would appreciate you coming to our work session on Tuesday, and we'll go through each one of these and see questions and get everything straightened out then. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
We'll now go to the Department of Transportation Highway Fund portion. Well, they're all highway funds. And we would welcome, I believe, Karen Doyle. Or is it going to be the commissioner?
It's going to be Karen.
Oh, all right. Very good.
Where'd she go? She was here earlier. Hold on.
We'll get her. Representative Perkins, welcome. Glad you could get here with us. Nice to have you. Senator Farren did a great job presenting your bill.
Well,
Thank you, Senator Farren. Appreciate your time.
Anything for you, sir.
Senator Diamond,
Yes.
while we're waiting, I wonder if, are we aware of anyone attending the appropriations portion of our bill?
Yes, we had two people, Representative Bryant and Representative Williams were both.
Yeah, I wonder how that went.
Did Representative Williams, is there anything you can share with us prior to?
Yeah, it went well. The commissioner was informative and gave the information. I did make a statement, as I am wont to do at times, and just bringing up the fact that historically, at least in the last 8 years, I'm told, the only bonding measures that pass are transportation bonding. So I asked specifically for just to keep an open mind on not doing a transportation bill, given, in short, wide agreement on our affordable housing issues in this state. And we've tried a number of years ago, I think, a housing bond, and that didn't pass. And I think once more it wouldn't. So I just put that out for some discussion.
Well, thank you very much for that. Glad to get an update. Representative Bruce White. Thank you.
Yeah, yes, thank you. And I wasn't sure. I didn't, the other day that I would be able to attend, but I did attend this morning as well. Very informative, as Representative Williams said. And one thing that somebody had asked was about the Blue Ribbon Commission, report. So they are, interested in that. And I think Commissioner Van Note is going to make sure they have a copy of that. In fact, I think it was in his testimony as a link. So that's, good work that was done in the past that people are well aware of, and they're interested in, how we continue to fund into the future and some ideas. So it was very informative, and I'm sure we'll be hearing more in the days ahead.
Yes, well, thank you both for taking the time to attend. Representative Bryant, I know you were going to attend. Were you able to, or I know you had another bill going on today as well. No, I guess he stepped out for a minute. Okay. Karen Doyle, good afternoon and welcome. We lost you for a minute, but we have you back.
Yes, I apologize for that.
No problem.
So good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Any comments you'd like to make, and then you can take us through the initiatives? That would be helpful.
Yes, please. So good afternoon, Senator Diamond, Representative Martin, and distinguished members of the Joint Standing Committee on Transportation. I am Karen Doyle, the Director of Finance for Maine DOT, and I appear before you today to present the governor's proposed supplemental budget, specifically those portions that pertain to Maine DOT. As you know, this supplemental budget proposal builds on the investments of the biennial budget and the Maine Jobs Plan, which both were enacted within the last 7 months. This highway fund supplemental allocates $6.1 million, which was recognized by the Revenue Forecasting Committee in their December 1st revenue forecast. I just also want you to be aware this week, they projected an additional $2.2 million that you may consider allocating, as the Secretary just mentioned, 2 ideas to allocate a portion of that money, and whatever is left of that, we would suggest you put into the Lake Capital Paving Program. And we could talk specific numbers at the work session when you get closer to that.
Sure. You can, Representative Perry.
Yeah, just real quick, I understand some of the revenue forecasts are looking good, but with $4 gasoline, they may not look good for very long. So I don't think we should be jumping to spend every penny we have, because it may not be there when the forecast comes in.
Word of caution we all should hear, for sure. All right, you want to take us through?
Sure. So similar to Secretary of State, where there are 15 items for Maine DOT. The first is in the administration program on page 8 of your document. This initiative is to transfer positions between accounts based on the work being done. Former committee members will know we generally do this in every supplemental budget. Over time, people's positions morph. They might have worked in highway and bridge, and their duties change more to maintenance and operations. So you will see 7 different initiatives that move 14 positions around. Some go up, some go down, but it all nets to 0 at the end of the day. So this specific one is adding 2 headcount to the administration account at the cost of $241,332 in FY22 and $245,248 in FY23. Again, just to reiterate, after we get done at the end of the day, all of these positions net to 0. It's just moving between accounts. The second initiative, also on page 8, provides funding to increase the hours of various positions to make them full-time. Again, you will see this initiative multiple times in the document, and this is for $102,334 in FY22 and $107,033 in FY23. The third initiative moves to the Fleet Services Program. This is a reduction of 1 headcount related to the transfer of positions and decreases personal services of $93,450 in FY22 and $94,208 in FY23. The fourth initiative at the bottom of page 8 and continuing to page 9 is an increase of 4 headcount in the Highway and Bridge Program. Again, this is just transferring between accounts. And because it's the Highway and Bridge Program, it affects the Highway Fund, federal funds, and other special revenue funds in various dollar amounts. The fifth initiative on page 9 in the Highway and Bridge Program provides funding to increase the hours of certain positions to make them full-time. This will increase the FTE count by 0.545 and increases the highway fund by $71,929 in FY22, $74,865 in FY23, and federal funds of $79,919 in FY22 and $83,173 in FY23, and then smaller amounts in the other special revenue accounts. The sixth initiative, also on the Highway and Bridge Capital Program, begins on page 9 and continues on page 10, provides funding to upgrade positions necessary to deliver capital work. This includes increases for all 3 funds, the Highway Fund, Federal Fund, and other special revenue funds in both years. The next initiative is the largest initiative you will find in the supplemental document. This is the allocation necessary to spend the $85 million that is currently proposed in the general fund budget to be transferred to the Highway and Bridge Program. And it is on page 10 of your document. As you are aware, the biennial budget transferred $50 million at the end of FY21, a direct allocation, as well as a cascade allocation, which at the end of the day amounted to $55.9 million. So this is almost $106 million that we are extremely grateful for the general fund support that we received and hope that will continue in the current supplemental discussions. The 8th initiative moves to the Highway Light Capital Program on page 10 of your document. This is an increase in personal services of $3 million in FY22 and a decrease of capital, just to move it between line items. And then in FY23, it is currently an increase of $2,459,000, which we hope, depending on your discussions, may that number, we would love for that to go up to 3 million, which is the full amount needed for personal services. And then whatever's left, hopefully will go into all other. And combining that with year-end balances, we are still planning to do the 720 miles each year as is currently proposed in our work plan. The 9th initiative moves on to the Local Road Assistance Program on page 10 of your document. As you know, the current law requires that 9% of total Maine DOT Highway Fund budget is dedicated to providing municipalities with financial assistance to use on their roads. And because this supplemental budget increases the Highway Fund for Maine DOT, local road assistance also needs to increase. And those amounts are currently $19,332 in FY22 and $241,334 in FY23. Moving on to Maintenance and Operations Program begins on page 10 of your document, continuing on to page 11. The first initiative is related to the transfer of positions, and it reduces headcount in this program by 7, decreasing the Highway Fund allocation by $664,884 in FY22 and $684,720 in FY23, and also decreases the federal allocation by $27,699 in FY22 and $28,522 in FY23. The next initiative is on page 11 of your document in the multimodal island ferry service program, also related to the transfer of positions. This increases headcount by 2 in this fund, increases the allocation by $202,634 in FY22 and $211,776 in FY23. You'll see that in the multimodal fund. It also increases the highway fund because the highway fund provides the 50% support. So the amounts are half of the previous amounts, or $101,317 in FY22 and $206,999 in FY23. And that is a typo, I'm sorry, that's $105,888 in FY23. The next program is the Multimodal Transit Program, beginning on page 11, continuing on to page 12. This is a headcount reduction of 1 due to the transferring of positions between accounts, reduces the federal allocation by $138,168 in FY22, $141,740 in FY23, and reduction in the other special revenue funds of about $69,000 a year. The 14th initiative is the Multimodal Transportation Fund. This is a headcount increase due to the transfer of 1 position and an increase of personal services of $159,310 in FY22 and $160,410 in FY23. The final initiative, also multimodal transportation, is the allocation necessary to spend the $15 million that's currently proposed in the general fund budget. Combined with the 85 I previously mentioned, these 2 will replace the need for a bond in November and will help support next year's work plan. So that concludes my written testimony. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them now or at work session.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. You said that the headcount, just for the work session, headcount netted out to 0?
Yes.
Within these 15 initiatives?
So there are 7 different initiatives in the different programs, and they all net to 0. So if you add up all the pluses and all the minuses, it should come to 0.
Okay, thank you. Questions from the committee? Anybody want information for the work session or questions of Karen right now? You know, everybody's welcome. I guess we're going to save everything for the work session, so thank you for that. We appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
I think that completes LD to this point, LD 1996. Are there others who would testify in any manner on 1996?
There's nobody in the list.
Nobody on the list. And either is opposing or neither for nor against. Seeing none, close the public hearing on LD 1996 and dig into it next Tuesday. Sam, you have some language for us to review?
Senator Diamond, so it's going to be Tuesday, not Thursday, that we look at this?
Tuesday.
Work session is the 8th, Tuesday.
Okay.
Apologies, I had trouble finding the button to turn my camera back on.
Oh, well, you did well. You're all set. Now, the question is, you had some language for us to look at?
Absolutely, and let me just pull it up to share my screen here. Why is this not working? There we go. All right, can everybody see this?
Everybody got it?
So we have 3 bills that have come back for language review. Only one of them actually has language. The other 2 are just fiscal note report back. So this first one is for LD 1843, an act to allow the Secretary of State to use an electronic lien titling program for the purposes of the Maine Motor Vehicle Certificate of Title and Anti-Theft Act. And as you can see, there's not a whole lot to explain here. This really is more or less the language that the committee voted on, and we tweaked it just a little bit to conform to drafting standards, but it's not, nothing is substantively different. And then moving down, there's also a minor fiscal note here, but it doesn't require any appropriations or allocations.
Okay.
Does anybody have questions?
Questions for Sam on this language, LD 1843? I can't see anybody. My list is locked out. I don't see any questions from anybody. Okay.
All right, moving forward.
Yep.
We also had the committee amendment to LD 1892, which this was the Turnpike Authority budget. This first piece is just saying that the only amendment was to incorporate a fiscal note. We didn't change the language of the bill at all. It was straight out to pass. And here is the fiscal note. And the numbers in the fiscal note reflect the numbers that you saw in the original bill. It's pretty straightforward.
Questions from committee members? Basically what the committee had already voted, just wanted to see the wording. Okay.
And then the last one was for LD 1762, an act to amend the law regarding the expiration of disability plates and placards fees for recycler licenses. And then this one was just a request for a fiscal note. And as you can see, we received a no fiscal note required. So I just wanted to let you know before we let the bill be reported out.
Okay. Any questions from the committee? Seeing none. So these bills will be headed towards the floor then. We should probably see them next week when we.
Yes, I will. Some of them I have to send back to be printed, and the ones that were and the one that didn't have a fiscal note will go out soon. So yeah, you should probably see them next week, hopefully.
Did everybody, you sent letters, those 2 letters that were requested to everybody, committee members?
I did. And
Please look those over because we will send them, but we don't want to send them till the committee members have seen the letters. And if you have any concerns, anything that you want to bring up, we'll certainly do that. We have time now if you have the concerns, or we can do them next week. We have 2 meetings next week. So we just want to make sure everybody is comfortable with the wording. They seem fine to me, but we want to make sure, as the committee requested, everybody has a chance to to take a look.
I sent the original email last week and had initially given people until today to express concerns. So if you want me to wait till next week before having you sign them and send them out, I can, but we can also do that whenever.
Anybody mind if we just clean this up and send it out since we've had it for a while? Anybody have any concerns or questions? I don't see anything anywhere, Sam. I think it's okay to send them out.
Okay.
All right, so next week we have work sessions on 1990, the bill we heard today, 1996, the budget today, and then 284, which is the finalization of the inspection, I believe, without having it before me, but I think that's it.
Mhm.
And then we have a session, in-person session in Augusta on Wednesday, Thursday. We meet again, probably maybe for the last time. It's the quasi-independent state agency reviews. We've got NEPRA, MTA, and the MPA. We have one confirmation hearing we have just left over. We have to do that. And then we have a report from the Department of Motor Vehicle, their overview report, which we want to see. That's all I have. Anybody have anything else? Chair Martin, anything you have from your side?
Doing great, thank you.
Anybody else have anything we should talk about, bring up? Seeing nothing, and I think we're ready to roll. Suzanne, we'll see you next Tuesday as well. Thanks for being with us today. And I think that brings us to a close. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you Tuesday.
Great weekend, everybody.
Thank you.
See ya.
Kim?
Sam? Oh, he's gone.
Do you want me to text him?
Oh, no, I'll call him. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure they made the motion ought to pass, but I put it ought to pass as amended in case it was a fiscal note. So I just wanted to make sure we could let it go.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, not a biggie.
Bye.
All right, bye.